Alright, so is that better, guys? Okay, guys, let's start that again, shall we? So, good morning, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I thought I'd do a quick video right now before I go away to my brother's place. I'm going to set up a new TV that he's purchased and hang it up on the wall. So I thought I'd get in on a quick video. Now, two announcements today you probably would have heard, but as you can see, I've got the kick-ass 10% off everything store-wide. That's on the australiandirect.com.au website. That's for all you Australians. And also, don't forget, we got the kick-ass 200 watt super thin solar panel valued at $479 giveaway, and that's still currently running, and that will end, I think it might end about midnight tonight, or could be tomorrow night. As of yesterday, there was 80 entries so far, 80 entries. So one of you lucky entries there are going to win that super thin solar panel. And believe me, guys, they are performing really well. In fact, I've got mine, although mine is 300 watt. I've got mine out the backyard right now, and it is pumping all the amps into my 12 volt system setup, as you can see there. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, my mum just, yeah. I'm live on video, mum.
Alright.
You want to shut that door? Yeah, I heard you, yeah. I'm just going to shut that door. Sorry about that. And my mum just sitting here staring at me. Yeah, so guys, so don't forget, get your entries in on that super thin solar panel. These are really good quality, guys. These work really well. They really pump the amps in. As you probably know, I'm a huge advocate of high voltage solar panels, guys. And for probably the last 3 years, I've been using nothing but high voltage solar panels. And the reason being is because of their efficiency. High voltage solar panels are just, I've found so much more efficiency than 12 volt solar panels. That is until, Mum, that is until I came across these lightweight 12 volt systems that the kick-ass has put out. Which takes me back, the first time I got impressed, there's a bit of a story. The first time I was out camping with Rob down at Kincuna here, which is a remote camping zone of the Barham Coast National Park. I think it's called Barham Coast National Park or Barham National Park, whatever they call it now. That place gets so many name changes. I call it Palm Beach because us that lived here for many years, we used to have a farm there not far from there. We always called it Palm Beach because there was one section there near where all the old shacks are, which is just full of palms. I don't know whether they're there anymore. They're probably not there because the coastline has eroded quite a fair bit over the years with the storms and the cyclones. But it used to be a line of palm trees all along that coast there. It was beautiful. It's as if you're in an exotic location like Fiji or somewhere like that. And the beauty is not many people, no one knew about the place. Hardly anyone went there. I used to go there and you had the place to yourself. You literally had the place to yourself. The tracks were really rough though because your four-wheel drive would get scratched to the... Yeah, we just had an old Hilux, Toyota Hilux, 4-wheel drive that didn't matter where it got scratched or anything. We used it on the farm. We just treated it as rough as anything. And I just used that to go out there. And the fishing was really good at the time as well. Rob had one there. And I think it was Rob. And I thought, oh yeah, actually, he plugged it into his dot trailer. And I had a look, and I was surprised because I had my high voltage solar panel at the time. I think it was the big glass household one, the 200 watt, 35 or 42 volts thereabouts, that was sitting on top of the roof rack on my vehicle, if I recall. And he was almost matching the amperage coming in with the 250 watt ultra lightweight solar panel thing that he's got coming into the system. And that surprised me because I'm used to seeing these cheaper Chinese ones that don't perform. You're lucky that they put 5-6 amps in on a good day, and that's with the 200 watt. So I went to the high voltage solar panels, and then Kickass came out with these new super thin ones a while back. And the first time I came across it, I think Stephen and Annie from FJ Camping and Touring, I hope I got that right. They actually had one set up, and I was camping next to him, and I checked it out, and I saw the amps coming into that. I thought, wow, that's impressive. If I recall, there was something like 13 amps or 14 amps or something. And I had a two, and well, I still got it, but it's got to be sent away for warranty repairs because just out of the blue it stopped. I've got one of those Safari high voltage 250 watt solar blankets that I purchased nearly 2 years ago, and it's been really good. It's been very efficient, and believe me, surprise, it actually puts in like 65 volts, guys. It's like 65 volts. Incredible solar panel, but word of warning, if you get one of them and it's a warm, hot, sunny day, man, don't touch the panel. That thing will burn your fingers. In fact, it was sometimes it was a struggle to put it away. I had to try to drag it away in the shade to cool it down, which is probably understandable being 65 volts at generating, and on a hot day, well, no sound. I've got no audio. Oh gosh, guys, don't tell me the audio is still not working. I hope I haven't been yapping away for the last 10 minutes with no audio. Can you let me know if the audio is working? If it's not, guys, hang on. Let me unmute. Got no audio. Yeah, okay, I think the audio is working. I can hear it on my end. Gotta love Mum, yeah. Apparently, it looks like I'm going to my sister's for lunch today. So apparently, I also was supposed to go to my brother's as well. So I'll have to organise that. I can't do it both. It'll be one or the other. It is now. That's good. Can you recommend a fixed panel for the roof? Yeah, Cliff's Fishing and Hobbies. Mate, honestly, I recommend, now you need to have a really good MPPT solar regulator. When you want to go high voltage, you need very good solar regulator, and I think you cannot go past the Victron. Victron, that's it, guys. Easy choice, go for it. Victron MPPT solar regulator. Make sure you get one that's got capable of handling the high voltages from the solar panel. Mine is a Victron MPPT smart solar controller. It's 100/50. So what that means is 100 means it will handle up to 100 volts input, solar panel, and the 50 is the up to the 50 amps it can charge your battery at. Now you can get them at 75/15. You can get them at 130, I believe. You can get them 150. You can even get them right up to 250, whatever numbers. It's just incredible what you can. So just make sure that first number is at least your 75. 75/15 I wouldn't go for. I think that's too low. 15 amps is not enough. Your solar panel is going to produce a lot more than 15 amps, depending what you go for. Even just a free household already used, you can pick up literally all $50, or if you know an installer, you can pick them up for free, like a Trina. They're really good. I've got a Trina, and it was given to me free approximately 3.5-4 years ago. And to this day, that was actually sitting on top of my four-wheel drive. I went four-wheel driving with it. The whole works because, guys, a lot of people say they're not designed to put on the roof of the vehicle. I don't know. I had mine on there for years, and I went four-wheel driving to Fraser Island, etc. I've been all the way up to Cooktown, part of the four-wheel driving tracks all the way up there as well. That thing's been everywhere, and I never had an issue, and I'm still using it to this day out in the shed. I still use it. And that's a Trina 37.5 volt, I believe, 200 watt household panel. that was given to me for free, and that thing really packs the amps in, but it's about 20 kilos. So again, as I mentioned, that was about 3-4 years ago. There are some new ones now, equivalent size to that, that produces 400 watts and the same weight. And I think they're only around about $370, $400 if I get me right. A good one, LG's got some good ones out now. So Springers, if you go to Springers, they're mob down in Brisbane, you go check their site out. They've got some good ones in there. And in fact, even the mob here, but they're mainly 12, I think they're mainly 12 volt. I'm not too sure. They do have some, there's a mob here where I live, here in Bundaberg, called Bundy Solar and Sat. And that's where I got a lot of my Victron gear from. And they sell solar panels there. They're a Victron distributor, a major Victron distributor. Yeah, so Cliff's Fishing and Hobbies, that's what I would go for. Something like that. Otherwise, in regards to 12 volt solar panels, something like these kick-ass are quite awesome. But of course, you can't mount them on top of your vehicle. So if you want something that mounts on top of your vehicle, I'd go for one of those high voltage solar panels, whack up the top there, because they are a lot more efficient, and also they'll have a benefit because your panel's flat, you can't angle it to the sun. They'll start charging a lot early in the morning, and they'll start charging a lot, and they'll charge to a lot later in the day. It's all to do with the higher voltages they are. So let me see any comments. Victron are the best. I agree. I'm very impressed with the Victron gear, and they are leading in the technology. They're not Australian, but they're also not Chinese. I think are they Netherlands? I think they're from the Netherlands. I'm not too sure where they're made. They might be Taiwan or something, I don't know. It could even be made in China. But at least they're not using the Chinese crappy cheap parts that some companies use. So you have to be wary of where some of this stuff comes from. So yeah guys, so don't forget 10% off store wide. All you got to put in is, when you go to the checkout, is put in that code AUCamper10. I don't know whether it has to be in capitals or lower. That's how Kickar sent it to me, so probably better type it in as how it's shown on there, and you'll get 10% off on your purchase. And of course, the draw for this 200 watt super thin solar panel, valued at $479, is coming soon. Okay, I don't know whether it's going to end tonight at midnight or if it's going to end tomorrow at midnight. I'm not too sure. But if you just go to the link, now to get the link, just go to my one of my Facebook page or my Instagram page, and you'll get the link there to join. You don't have to be a subscriber. It's open to all my viewers. Did you consider using Red Arc gear? Yeah, I've actually got one. If you have a look at the schematics, can you see the latest schematics I've got on the bottom right hand side here? I'll increase that size up soon and let you have a proper look. But have a look at that schematic, you'll see there is a Red Arc 1225D DC-DC. I've had that for 5 years now. 5 years I've owned that. And you also will see that Victron MPPT solar regulator sitting right below it on the schematic. That's 150. I bought that when they first just came out, so I reckon I would have had that for about 5 years now, and I've never had an issue. Never had an issue. So it's quite remarkable. I believe they even got a 5-year guarantee on their Victron gears. So I think it's all 5 years guarantee with Victron. To my personal opinion, Red Arc are behind in the technology. They're overpriced too. You can shop around and get much better deals. I would never buy a recommended retail price for a Red Arc product. Way overpriced. Here we are, we've got FJ Camping in Turing is online. How you going? Guys, FJ Camping and Touring, an up and coming YouTube channel. He only needs, what is it, Steve? 27 more subscribers to crack that 1,000 subscriber marks. So any of you guys out there who's not subscribed to FJ Camping and Touring, he's on here right now. Let's help him, eh? Because us YouTubers, for you that don't know, things change when you reach 1,000 subscribers. Things change for the better for us. Okay, and how I mean that is then your channel gets approved to get the ads put on your channel. Now you might think that's going to be a 24 to go. There you go, 24. You might think, oh gee, that's going to be terrible. They've got to watch ads. But guys, those ads help us to get a few more dollars in our pockets, and then it makes it, you know, then we can use that to improve our channels, get more products to review and test, etc. So we can show for you guys and that. So, and it helps a lot. It helps a lot because there's a fair bit of work involved in running a YouTube channel, especially if you want to put a video up on a weekly basis. I try to get videos up every 3-4 days. I was hoping to get a video up by now, and I've just been busy. I haven't had the time because it takes quite a long time. You got to get the gear, you got to go in the car and look for a nice location, and then you got to film the video. You come back home, you got to edit it, and then you got to render it and then upload it and so on. It's quite. But whereas these live videos, guys, it's just boom, instant. There's no editing. There's nothing like that. So I'm going to start doing more of these live videos now, even when I'm out and about traveling as well with my phone. I managed to get one of these DJI OM5s. You can see here. Where's the camera? Okay. I don't know if that's focusing on that or not. There it goes. It's probably overexposed. Okay. So that using my phone so that it's not shaking like an earthquake all over the place. 24 to go. So I reckon, how about you guys that are not subscribed, go check out, after this live feed, go check out FJ Camping and Touring. I'm sure if you click on his name there, it should come up to his YouTube channel. Let's see if we can get him that 24 by the end of the day, eh? I know what it was like when I was on around about the 950, and it was grueling. That weight was just terrible. But yeah, guys, for us YouTube content creators, once you reach that 1,000 subscribers, as I mentioned, things change. YouTube starts taking you more serious. Your videos start getting promoted a little bit more. Once I've reached that 1,000, I noticed I was starting to get more subscribers, more viewers as well. I noticed my videos are starting to get promoted more. There were ads put up, but yeah, some of you might think, yeah, I hate ads. I do too, I hate ads. But guys, these ads are really important for us because it's how we can make a couple of dollars. And it's not going to cost you guys anything. It's not costing you anything. It's not like you're paying it. Some people get confused with that. Advertisers paying for it. Advertisers, okay? So you get your big firm advertisers. They'll pay YouTube so many dollars per 1,000 views that they get. So then YouTube then gets those and allocate them out. Now, the more views you get on your channel, on your video, us contents, the more viewers we watch, particularly the ads, the more people that watch those ads, we get a percentage of what the manufacturers, those that pay to put the ads on through YouTube, they pay YouTube, and YouTube put the ads on, then we get a percentage of that. Okay? And the more viewers you get, okay, that higher that is. So, seeing the Victron Smart Controller for $370. Yeah, they're not the cheapest around, guys, but they're the best. If you want to go solar panel, and particularly if you want something reliable, and for us 4 drivers, It's really important to have something reliable because we could be out somewhere very remote. Australia is a very remote country in some places you can go to as you're aware of. So it's really important we got some really good gear. And in fact, the Victron is very big in the yachting industry. Okay, in the yachting industry, for those that live full time on yachts, not just yachts, on the super yachts as well. Well, those super yachts, there's big motorboats and so on. I know a few families that actually live full time on a 40-foot catamaran, like a Lagoon 40 or a Lagoon 45 or something I know of. And so some of them actually travelling around Australia at the moment, I know. And they live full time on the yacht. They travel all around the world and they got all Victron gear. Majority is all Victron. They could be out in the middle of the ocean, weeks and weeks and weeks away from any civilization whatsoever, and they're all using Victron gear. Majority of the people, Jax has put a comment up here, the 130. Majority of the people, you'll find the 130 will be more than enough to run, particularly if you only want to run the one solar panel. But if you've got a huge vehicle, okay, you happen to have got one of those big vans or something, you can run more than one or two or three or four of those solar panels, or a caravan. You'll definitely want to go for something minimum 150, even more, or ideally you could get the 130 and then get another 130 later on. A lot of people are doing that now. That's probably a better solution to do that. Mic is very crackling. Yeah. Guys, I'm using a mic that's like 20 years old. I'm going to have to... I tried using my good mics, but my computer's pretty old. And my good mics just don't seem to work. I don't know why the sound is crackling. I need to look into it and try to rectify this mic. I've got a good picture now because I managed to find a way to use my good camera. I'm using my really good Sony camera for the videos, but I'm definitely going to work on the sound as long as you can still hear me. Okay. Let me just turn the mic off briefly and turn it back on and see. I don't know if that's any better now. Hopefully the crackling noise or the noise you're hearing is not from the fan I've got running here. My computer room here is also a storage room off the end of the home where I keep all my camping gear, and it's facing a westerly, and it's not what do you call insulated? The walls are not insulated, so it's really hot in here. So I've got a fan running through here, and I've got the doors shut to stop all the outside noise coming through. I've got Rode mics. I've got the Rode Pro. I've got the Rode Pro external mic, and I've also got the professional lab mics as well. But those things won't work on my computer for some reason. It just doesn't pick up any sound. So I've got to look into it and find out why and try to get those mics working. So Keith, yeah, Keith is at that place that FJ Camping Touring was at, where he's just recently put a video up on called Paradise Lost on the Burnet, or Paradise on the Burnet. Is that what it's called? And I've seen some photos. He's been sending me some photos because Keith's got a camper trailer now, and he's updated it with some the rooftop tents, and he's put a new awning on it, and he's got some new 12-volt gear on there. In fact, I went around to his house and helped him update all his 12-volt gear on his trailer because it had some really shoddy, shonky, questionable 12-volt system set up on it. It's from China, so that's what happens when you get a camper trailer from China. First thing you'll probably want to do when you get it is change the 12 volt system. Complete the whole lot. Change everything. Unless for some miracle you've got one that's got good gear on it. But the Chinese guys, they save every dollar they can, and they just whack in the cheapest what they can find 12 volt system in these Chinese camper trailers, and they're a fire hazard. They really are. They're a major fire hazard. We were shocked when we started pulling the old system out, the way the connections were, the thin wires they were using. Guys, for example, it's got two 120 amp AGMs that's parallel together. The cables joining the two batteries together that are parallel was thinner than a pencil. Thinner than this biro, guys. Thinner than that. A lot thinner. Probably even half the thickness of that biro. I have never ever in my life seen anything like that. Cable so... Soon as I saw it, I thought, holy shit! I said, Keith, we got to get that. We got to get all this cable out of here. I'm sorry to say, mate, but we got to change everything on this, and that's what we did. We pulled it all out, and I helped Keith do that. No, it's not a King's trailer. It's not a King's trailer. Enjoy watching your videos. Thanks. I ride a dirt bike. I love that. I used to ride dirt bikes too on the farms. It's cool. Hopefully the mic is better now. Before I do my next live video, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do to get my mic to work a lot better. Every so often my mum opens the door to check to see what I'm doing. Guys, let's show you. Let me do a little bit. I've updated the schematics for my... Okay, let me do a little bit of change in rearranging here of the screen. I'm going to update the screen shortly. Okay, just bear with me. I just want to... Oops, hang on. I hit the wrong one to order. There we go. There we go. Here's a bit more of a footage here showing the schematics of my electrical system in my 4-drive Pajero. This is... She probably is wondering why I'm sitting in here talking to myself, but I did tell her that I'm live on YouTube, so she understands. Now, this is it. This is what my system is here. Pretty much exactly how it's connected as well, except there is one cable I forgot to put in. There should be a cable that's going from the Victron MPPT solar regulator through to the Servo GX on the bottom left. Not the bottom left, that's the iTech World 120X battery. On the one that's below the screen. Okay, the one that's below the screen. So that's my system setup. That's exactly how it's set up at the moment. I absolutely love it. It works a treat. It's awesome. Except for the battery. I need to update that battery. Or get another one of these iTech World 120X. But someone from Victron told me that if you parallel two of these 120X iTech World batteries together, it does not double your charge rate capability or the discharge rate. I don't have enough discharge rate on that to run my oven without assisting it with a generator or two lots of solar panels or AC power. So if I've got another battery that's got a continuous discharge can sustain a continuous discharge of 200 amps, I'll be able to run my oven without anything assisting it, and then my solar panels can keep that up to charge, no problems at all. So they're the plans. I do have a little Honda generator that I'm using at the moment when I want to use my oven, but I only need it to run the oven. The induction cooktop seems to run fine, and my coffee machine runs fine as well. Even though if you look in the tag on the bottom, it says that it draws something like 2200 watts. I think it may even have as much as 2800. I need to check. But I've found that it only does that because it's got a double boiler on it. So if you do one process at a time, but guys, just watch me video on one of the latest videos I've put up. I filmed it last Monday, uploaded it Monday night around midnight a week ago. Just check that out, and in there it shows this system pretty much running with like using the I don't think I showed the oven running on that one. I think that video was only just running the coffee machine, and I showed you running the coffee machine with a little generator, and then running the coffee machine without the generator by changing a few settings on the coffee machine. It's all to do with the coffee machine. If you go, it's a bit technical. If you go and watch that video, you'll see all about it there. It hasn't been a very popular video. I was surprised. I thought that would be a very popular video, but not many people are watching that one. Sitting there talking to yourself. So how many have we got on? 13. It says 13. Oh, well, that's not too bad. That's three more than what I had last time when I was... Maybe one day we might get more than 13. We might even hit the 20s one day. How cool would that be if we hit the 20s? So that's my system setup. So you can see the Egon DC hub there. You can see the solar regulator there. You can see the DC hub. One thing you notice all those components are all connected into the Egon DC hub. So there's no separate long cable runs that I have to run all the way to the battery. There's only that one set. You can see that says 2 starter battery. That's the only set of cables that are running to the starter battery. That's it, just those, nothing else. And it's all mounted next to the DC hub, so they all got very short cable runs as well. There's no extra joins required. There's no extra fuses you need to put in because that Egon DC hub, it's all got fuses in it. There's heaps of fuses on that, and they're easily accessible. And if one fuse blows, a red light will come on to indicate the fuse that's blown, and it'll show you which one it has blown. So it's just a matter of pulling the fuse out and putting the fuse back in. So you can see all that, so that's awesome. You can see the kick-ass 75 litre fridge, owned that for over 2 years now. Excellent fridge. I won that one, as many of you are aware. I've actually won that kick-ass fridge from a competition that Buck from Mr. Buckaroony was running up at Lake Tinaroo, which was a drifter event 2 years ago, August 2 years ago, I think that was run. You can see there's like a dongle there, that Wi-Fi dongle. That's to do, and a little GPS thing. So there's also a GPS tracker on my vehicle as well. And that's what that thing indicates there. That's a 4G dongle. So what that does is to do with the Servo GX, which is like a electronic device thing that just gathers all the information, a whole lot, and it all portrays it on that screen at the top. And in fact, if you have a look, I'll show you the screen here. This is an indication of some of the stuff that it'll show you on the screen. Now this is just a small sample of the information. I can click on the bottom right, go through a menu, and it comes up with, for example, let me show you here. It comes up, and this is to do with the MPPT. I can go in here on each day and check to see what the solar power regulator on my solar panels are doing. In fact, this solar panel here, this is an example of the Kick-Ass solar panel, the 300 amp one. 300 amps. I wish they were 300 amps. How cool would that be? If you could get solar panels, well, you could get them, but you'll need a, I don't know what you'll need. No, I don't even think a semi-trailer will hold enough solar panels on its roof to produce 300 amps. So maybe 300 watts. So this is a 300 watt lightweight Kick-Ass solar panel. Kick-Ass did give me this one, guys. They gave me this one. Okay, so this is a freebie for me. So thank you very much. Any of the guys out there watching from Australian Direct or Kick-Ass, thank you very much for that. But you can see the performance it's running here. So it's put up to 19.7 amps. That was putting in. So you can see it had the battery charge. The bulk charge was 2 hours 17 minutes. Absorbent was on an hour, and then it was on float charge for 3 hours before I disconnected the solar panel. So I've got that running at the back there now. So we can go back to my little HD screen. This is a touch screen. You can see this is when I'm running the generator. This is when I'm running that oven, that 240 volt oven I'm actually running here. So you can see I've running the generator, and I've turned the amps down to 6.5 amps maximum input. And what that does is limits the generator, and it's creating 1258 watts. Instead of its full, it will put out up to 2200 watts. But continuous is 1800 watts. But of course, these little Honda generators, if you run them closer down, you know, these particularly at 1258 or below, they are very quiet. They are very quiet, these Honda generators. And so that's why I'm running it like that. And then, but then you're thinking I'm running a 1530 watt. This is what my 240 volt oven, air fryer oven. This is an air fryer oven. Consumes when it's running, and it's always that. When it's running, it's always running about that 1530 watts continuously all the time. Although it gets to that temperature real quick. Once it gets to the temperature that you set, say like a 200 degrees Celsius, usually reaches that within 10 minutes, and then what happens is it then cycles on and off. So it doesn't then consume as much power once it gets to the peak temperature. So this particular oven is actually quite well sealed. It's got like a proper oven door with seals on it, and it actually seals quite well. And it actually then just cycles on and off, on and off, on and off, etc. and so on. So you can see, because the generator is limited to 1258 and I've got a load of 1531, what you got is power assist mode on these Victron Multi Pluses. So it's getting the extra 300 watts that it requires out of my battery. And to do that, it's actually 26.6 amps. You can see it's drawing out. Now remember, guys, I'm also running the fridge with this, and the fridge is probably running at the same time. You can see it's a draw at 73 watts where it says DC power. So that's probably a draw that's coming out of the fridge on there as well. So 356 watts coming out of the battery, and that equates to about 26.6 amps. and the battery's still at 13.4 amps. And remember, that's only one. I'm only running one. In reality, you could say that is a 105 amp lithium battery, even though they call it 120X. I don't know why they call it 120X. Why not just call it a 105X or a 100X? You might as well say it's just a 100 amp hour battery. But don't be fooled thinking it's a 120 amp battery. Guys, it's not. Apparently the most you can get out of these is 100 amps. I've never tested it. I've never taken it down that far. I don't want to risk it, because apparently if you shut down the BMS on these, they're a pain in the rear end to get your battery up and running again. From what I've been reading on the menu, it looks very confusing. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to boost charge this, you got to whack a big voltage charge or whatever through it. I got no idea, so I don't ever want to intend to go through that if I can help it. So I have not ever tested it to see what I can get out of it. I got very close, accidentally very close. That BMS has got a shutdown temperature of 80 degrees. So if it hits 80 degrees, it will shut down. It got to 78 degrees once. 78 degrees. And that's when I was out at Keith's. I actually cooked up some fries. And what I did, I didn't use the generator. I didn't use the AC. So I was using let me go back to this screen here. Okay, so instead of using the generator, as you see here, I was running the same oven, so I was putting in the same load. Now, if I don't run a generator or AC to assist this goes up to about 165, 170 amps. Okay, it draws out of this battery. Now, going by the specs, these iTech World 120X can only support a continuous discharge of 150 amps, which is really good for a single battery on its own. It's really, really good, those specs. So what I did is, to get this load below 50, I had my 300 watt kick-ass solar panel out. I was at Keith, so I grabbed a loan of his 200 watt solar panel, and I connected connected Keith's 200 watt solar panel to me Red Arc MPPT solar regulators built into it via this. If you look here, you'll see on the top right, you have a look at my Red Arc BCDC. You'll see that there's a solar plug. There's a plug there, Anderson plug. That's an input for the solar that goes through the Red Arc MPPT solar regulator. Now, it's very rare I ever use that, guys. Very rare. I don't find it anywhere near as good as the Victron. But in that case, I used it. And having the two solar panels in, that dropped down from about 170 down to 140. So I was putting in about 30 amps. The solar was putting in about 30 amps. So I dropped it down to 140 amps. So I had 140 amps coming out. And then going by the specs, he said, you know, that should be fine. That'll handle it, no problems. And I was cooking some fries in the air fryer. And they were going to take about 20 minutes or so. Well, after about 15 minutes, I quickly went and checked on everything to make sure it was fine, and I noticed the battery temperature was 78 degrees Celsius. So I quickly I grabbed my AC lead and I plugged it into the nearest AC point that Keith had in his residence there, and plugged it in. As soon as I did that, you could see the battery was starting to come down then. So it was very close. That battery was going to shut down the BMS. Extremely close. So that surprised me, because looking at the specs, they claim that battery can handle continuously 150 amps. Well, it don't look like it can. My test, it failed at 140 amps after 15 minutes. The battery overheated. A lot of times that can happen if you don't use efficient or thick enough battery cable, particularly in my case, running from the multi-plus, the AC charger inverter, to the lithium battery. But I'm using 70mm square battery cable, guys. 70mm. It is thick as. This is too thick. In fact, I grabbed that battery and that leads, and they were still cold. They were cool. They do not generate any heat at all. So I went well and truly overboard and made sure. And remember, my multi-plus, it's not like it's a 3000 VA. If it was a 3000, I would have went even bigger cable. This is a 2000 VA, which is equivalent to 1600 watt inverter. So it's got 1600 watt inverter built into it. And the cable was, like I said, the cable was cold. I couldn't feel. I've run this under load, and I just grabbed the cable and held on to it, and it was, yeah, it was fine. So, any questions? What have we got? 8 people watching. Enjoy watching your videos. Yeah, the number of people get on will depend on the time of day of your broadcast. Yeah, I was going to do this live feed tonight. I still might do another quick, or I'll have a look and see when the, I'll have to see when this competition ends. And then what happens is, then before it ends, if it's not too late, I'll do a quick live feed, then just go on there. So it'll be one night, either tonight or tomorrow night. I'll go on live just before the competition ends to say this is the last chance to get your draw in. I'm not exactly sure when it is. I'm not running this competition, guys. This is run by Kickass, so they're going to draw it on their end. So I don't know when they're going to draw it. I would imagine probably this week, this coming week. I would imagine they're going to draw this. And then I think they're going to let me know who the winner is, and then I can announce it. I'll probably go on live and announce the winner any day now. And then Kickass, someone from Kickass will call you and get your mailing address to arrange, and they'll post this solar panel out to you. So this is a 12 volt. Just get, we're talking a lot about high voltage panels before. But just don't get confused. These Kickass solar panels, these are 12 volt solar panels. Okay? But they practically almost perform as good as a high voltage solar panel. Yeah. Magpie won. Thanks for that. Now I'm actually waiting for the magpie season to end so I can get out on my scooter without getting bombarded. It's like World War III here with the magpies. Although they're not too bad with me. I have been riding around up and down around the streets here on the scooter, and they haven't bothered me because I think they know me now. But anyone else that comes here, it's just all hell, man. So I'm waiting for the magpie season to end. Oh, I hate that. Oh, they're great birds, lovely birds. Jeez, I hate them when they're nesting season. I don't know why they're so aggressive to us. It's just crazy, crazy. Silly birds, silly birds. But, yeah, so you can see the Servo GX, which is, as I mentioned before, it gives me all the information, everything I want to know. This goes through there. And the unique feature with this as well, hence why it's got this 4G dongle that you see there. That 4G dongle gives it connection, because this here can connect to your home network setup via Wi-Fi or network cable, data network cable, or 4G through the 4G dongle. And I'm using the one that's from Victron, and it is very good quality. Guys, this thing here picks up stronger signal than my iPhone 12 Pro Max. So work that one out. I get stronger signal on that. I get signal with that inside my garage, where it's parked now, and I don't with my phone. My phone will not pick up a signal, and that's with Telstra. Both are connected to Telstra. So this here's got like a SIM card, the Telstra SIM card on it. It won't pick up 5G, but it'll pick up the 3G and 4G network, and it's very efficient. And you can actually unscrew, it's got this little stubby antenna, you can unscrew that and whack on a much better aerial, an external aerial of about 7 dB, which I have. I've got one in the car, but I've found with this system I don't really need it. That little stubby aerial is doing the job fine. But if I'm going somewhere that's remote, then I'll probably will start whack that 7 dB aerial onto my car and connect that to it. But what that does is that it uploads all this data, everything it picks up, plus extra information up to a portal. So it's like on the cloud. So it's a Victron portal. And then in there, I can go up to 6 months prior. It'll save 6 months data. So as that 6 months, you'll kind of lose that data. But you can download it, or you can download it in either an Access format or Excel format. You can download it and you've got a graph there and it shows everything. Now you can set it to anywhere from 15 minutes up to down to a minute, where every minute it'll upload the data to the portal. But I can also, so as long as my vehicle is set up, is in some form of network coverage, in my case 4G, or Wi-Fi when it's home, sometimes it'll pick up the Wi-Fi as well. Most of the time it's working on 4G because the Wi-Fi signal is very weak and it doesn't work well when it gets to my garage out the back. So what that does, yeah, as I said, it transfers up all that data up there. So as long as that vehicle is in a coverage area, as long as I'm within, I've got a computer that's connected to the network or my phone and I've got service, anywhere in the world I can connect to this system. I can have a look and see what the system's doing, what each component is doing. Not just the overall thing, it'll show me, what the MPPT is doing, what the multiplus is doing, what the battery's doing, with all the data on all this stuff. It'll give me all this data, the AC load, what the charge rate is, what's the temperature of the battery. Also even got temperature sensors that records the temperature and of the inside the fridge. I've got one that also, and that's what you see if you look at the Turbo GX and you look underneath, you'll see that little cable thing that looks like it's supposed to connect to a battery. Okay, that's actually a temperature sensor, and that just plugs into the bottom of that Turbo GX. And what that does is then records via some sort of a microchip that's inside there. It's like a computerized thing. Expensive little sucker, that cable. I think it's like $45 each on them. I've got two. I did get one for free though. Came with the multi-plus, and I bought an additional one. And that additional one, I use it to record the internal temperature inside my vehicle. So how that comes effective is then I can see what the draw rate is on my fridge at certain temperatures throughout the day. And I can download all that data down onto a graph and show it all on a graph. So in fact, when I do my 2-year review on the Kick-Ass fridge, I'm going to show you some of that data. So I'm recording some data now. It's a shame I did not have this set up through last summer, because then I could have showed you, I could have gone through summer and show you the draw rate of the fridge on a certain temperature, and then compare that to winter. Now during winter, I've been running the test during winter, that fridge kicks in for like 10 minutes and then it doesn't run for anywhere up to 40 minutes. And then it'll come back on 10-15 minutes and then it won't run for 40 minutes. Now that the weather's starting to warm up, I'm finding that it will run for about 15 minutes, and I think the last lot of data I checked on a warm day we had here, it did not run for something like, I think, 20 minutes, or was it 20 or 30 minutes, somewhere between 20 or 30 minutes, and then it ran for 15 minutes, and then it ran for 20 or 30 minutes. That gives you an idea, and that's some of the data, some of the history the specs I'm going to bring up on the two-year review of this fridge, and I'll be able to mention what all that correct data is there. So it shows you how efficient these fridges are. And one day, I've still got an angle fridge here one day. One day I'm going to, as an experiment, and for my YouTube channel, probably during this summer, I'm going to remove the kick-ass fridge and use it at home temporarily here as an additional fridge instead of my 40-litre angle. And I'm going to replace it with the angle, and I'm going to do the same test and compare it, particularly during summer, the insulation capability of that fridge, how often that, how long is that, it's going to run, what is it going to draw. Mind you, this is like a 40 litre compared to the 75 litre, but it's still going to be interesting because those angles are really, really thin. I think the insulation on them are too thin. So I might even look at maybe just running the two fridges at the same time in the vehicle and see if there's some way I can experiment both run at the same time and show you, hey, look at this. I'll have proven data, boom, right there. But I don't know how that's going to work unless if I end up getting a separate B&V 712, and I don't want to do that. So I think I'll just take that one out and then put the other one in. And I'll be able to tell you under certain conditions because I can record the temperatures that's inside my cab. So that's kind of some of the stuff I've got coming up soon. And it's got to be done through this Victron gear setup here. So, yeah, so the DC hub is a huge hit. It's simplified this setup quite a lot. It's amazing. You wouldn't think it though, guys, but when I set up the first time I installed this Egon DC hub, and it's about 7-8 months ago now I've had this in the vehicle, that Egon DC hub, you'd be amazed how much cable I actually pulled out of the vehicle, how much cables I've saved, on how much money I end up saving on cable runs. It's amazing the amount of cables that I had in that vehicle prior to running this Egon DC hub. There's no fancy connectors I have to use. You just strip off the end of these cables and just put them in and just screw them down, and make sure you screw them down tight enough. Every so often I'll go through and make sure the connectors are still good, they're still clean. And yep, only once I ever had a fuse that blown, and that's when I was connected to the rooftop tent. I don't think I had a fuse that was strong enough. I had a fuse that was too weak I used on here, and when I go press the button on the rooftop tent it wouldn't pop up. Then I had a look in here and I saw the red light come on. And I thought, oh, hang on, this fuse is probably not big enough, so I changed it. I think it was a 10 amp. I'm thinking I needed a 15 amp, and that's haven't happened since. Now the battery is not performing to how I want to, although these iTech World 120X do appear to be very good, particularly for a single 100 amp hour battery. So I am going to change that eventually. Down turner, yep, I'm all good. Yep, perfect. I'm good here. So I'm going to definitely change that. What's the time? 10:32. I've still got a bit of time before I have to go. So that battery, yeah, unfortunately, it's got to go. I'm going to probably end up building my own battery system. lithium system, or look at getting one of those DCSs. So yeah, that'll come up soon. I don't probably won't happen till next year, but for the time being, this is working fine. This is doing the job. It is performing. I do have to help it when I run my little 12 volt. 12 volt. My 240 volt air fryer oven. That's all. But it seems to be able to handle my induction cooktop, and it definitely handles everything else. It handles the coffee maker. No problems at all. So that's all working great. Now the beauty with this also, as I mentioned, I can connect remotely to this anywhere in the world as long as this is within some sort of a network coverage area. I can connect to it. I can turn on and turn off some of these individual components as well. So I've got access to the settings as well, so I can change settings remotely as well. So I could sit here right now and turn this thing on or off, turn that multiplus on or off, change some of the configurations just by sitting here right now, even though that's in the shed. I can go on the portal, I can go on my phone and it'll show the portal, it'll show the charge rate of the battery, and in fact, let me bring it up right now. Let me go into and tell you, because I've actually got the 300 watt solar panel connected on it right now. Let me see if the battery's at 99.2. So the battery was on about 80% just before I started this broadcast. No, it would have been before the broadcast, probably an hour and a half ago. I don't know, I could go in the data and have a look. I wish I could share this screen here. I probably could. I won't try now. Next time I'll see if I can share this screen. But I can see my battery's at 99.3. I can see the solar panel's now putting in 200 watts. And it's generating, how many amps? Hang on. Let me see. How many amps? 10 amps by the looks of it. I say because the battery's almost, well, you could say the battery's almost practically fully charged. The temperature inside the cab is 24 degrees at the moment. Yep, and the temperature inside the fridge is at 2 degrees Celsius at the moment. The temperature here now, the weather at the moment is 27 degrees Celsius and it's sunny. So this is some of the information that's all given to me. And it's, it's brilliant. And then that's just, and then there's a feature here. I can go in the advanced mode, and then in the advanced mode, then it gives me separate graphs of everything. I've got battery temperature graphs. My battery temperature is 25 degrees at the moment. Tells me what the solar panel is doing. I've got the tracking here, the vehicle tracking, GPS tracking, showing me where the vehicle is. Example, let's have a look at 77% at 8:08 this morning. The battery is 77%. I connected the solar panel and it's fully charged. 2 hours, just over 2 hours it took to fully charge it from 80% up to, and that's using that 300 watt kick-ass solar panel. So I can just quickly go through and check here. I'll see one day if I can share this data. I think there is a way that I can. In fact, let me have a quick look now to see if I can do it. Yeah, no, I'll have to check next time. I think there is a way I can screen capture on this. I'll have to check it next time. But yeah, slacking since 1969. Hey, how you going? We finally on the same time when you. It's good to see you're on. Finally, you're on when I'm live. How cool is that? Yep, Jack Turtle's on here. It's cool. How many people? We've got 9 here people so far. How cool is that? So guys, have you got any questions on? Oh, of that multi-plus. If you don't know what the multi-plus, that's that big blue thing that next to the battery. That's an AC charger inverter built into one. You can see the RCDO fuses. It's got one coming in from the input and one for the output as well. And you can see the earth as well. That was all wired up by electrician under the regulations. Electricians have to wire up your 240 volt side of the inverter. Good luck finding an electrician that will do it. It took me 3-4 weeks to find someone that was willing to do it for me. I don't know why, because whether it's because it's going into a 4-wheel drive or not, I got no idea. But in the end, I end up finding a couple of electricians that helped me out. That thing on the top is a digital multi-control. That will do what the touchscreen will do, except it's a lot quicker. So with that, I can turn on and off the multi-plus, and you'll see there's a little dial there on the right. It's got 16 on there. I can turn that left or right, and that will vary I can adjust the AC input load maximum. Like for example, I'm using a generator. I can dial that down to 5-6 amps, and that will only draw 1200 watts out of the generator, so it doesn't run at max. And also lets you get away with a much smaller generator. If you're running a generator, particularly you guys, the caravans, yachts and so on, and you're running these, this is a lot of use. Run this. You don't need such a big generator to run your system. You can get away if it's a much smaller generator by using the power assist, and turning that dial is adjust the power that comes in, the maximum power that'll come in. So you could be at a caravan. This is also a huge advantage for RVs as well and caravans. You could be at a caravan park and it's a little bit shonky caravan park, and the power doesn't look real good. It doesn't have real good clean power. So you can turn that down so it doesn't, it's less likely it's going to trip the circuit breakers and so on, and it'll put a lot less load on their system as well. But then if you're running an aircon or something, or you're running a 240 volt oven or something, and then you're drawing more than what it can put in, well then the inverter will then cut in, and then that will draw out, that will share the load. So it virtually shares the load. It makes up for what's not coming in if it's not enough from the grid. Now you can turn that feature off. You can just turn it on the charger only, so that way it just bypasses 100% the inverter. Okay, and then just whack it up to 15 or whatever. And I'm thinking this one here, you can go up as much as 30 amps. I think you can put a 30 amp load coming into this particular in multi-plus, I believe. So yeah, so you guys remember, as I mentioned, FJ Camping and Touring, he needs another, I think, 24. If you missed the announcement earlier on, he's on the verge of cracking 1,000 subscribers. So he needs another 24. So you guys, if you're not subscribed to his channel, get on there. Let's see if we can get that 24 by the end of the day. I know it's like he sent me a message before and he says it's like watching paint dry. I know exactly how that feels. I went through that a year ago. So we might call it quits at that, eh guys? This was only going to be a short video. Don't forget the competition is still on. You can see the 200 watt super thin solar panel. I believe that might be ending midnight tonight or midnight tomorrow night. Not too sure. I think it might be tomorrow night. And that's going to be drawn by Kickass themselves. So I don't know when that's going to be drawn. I would imagine it would be this week. And then they're going to contact me, let me know who the winner is, and then I wouldn't mind. What I'll do then is when I find out the winner is, I'll go back on here, do a live feed and have an announcement for the winner. See if I can find a drum roll background. And then Kick-Ass is then going to call you, congratulate you, get your mailing address, and then they will post out this super thin 200 watt solar panel out to you for free. So how cool would that be? So if there's no other questions, guys, we might call it at that, eh? Because what is it now? It's 10:42 here now because I'm in Queensland. We don't have the daylight saving time. Down south it'd be 11:42. Northern Territory it'll be even a different time. WA will be even a different time. We have many different time zones here because Australia's a big country. So we're actually on different, even though we're the same country, we're on many different time zones. Even South Australia's different time zone to us as well. So where I am now, I'm in Queensland, so New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania is on a different time zone at the moment. Northern Territory is on a different time zone. South Australia is a different time zone, and WA is on a different time zone. How crazy is that? Yes, it is. It is makes it a lot easier, and it also makes it easier for me when I put it together. I was drawing these schematics up before I put the system together, so it assisted. And my mum's on the side here. She's poking at me. She's poking at me, wanting me to get off here. I think she wants to talk to me. My phone is ringing too. I know who that is. That would be my brother John. He wants me to go around to his place to put up a new TV. And apparently my mum's organised for me to go to my sister's place for lunch today. So I better go before she gets angry. 8:43 p.m. Saturday night here. Oh, cool. Oh, at 10:44 a.m. Sunday morning here. So we're a day ahead of you, and it is the 17th of October. So we're one day ahead. We're in the future. In the future. I can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. If it works out that way, no. So again, slacking since 1969. You're in the US, aren't you? So hence why the huge time difference. So, okay. Oh well. I might head off now. There's no other questions. So you'll be able to rewatch this. This will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can rewatch this later. And I'll try to get out another video in the next couple of days out to a nice little spot somewhere around here, probably tomorrow morning. I'll get a video out. I filmed the video anyway and upload it either Monday night or Tuesday, and yeah, go from there. I don't know what I'm going to film it on yet. I've got a couple of products here, a couple of ideas what I'm going to film, do some videos on this week. So yeah, so till then, don't forget, get in this competition. Get on now. You guys, go to FJ Camping and Touring and subscribe to his channel. I want to see those 24 subscribers that he's looking for today. So poor Steve and Annie don't have to sit there and wait. It'd be like watching paint dry. I can imagine how excited they are to be so close to that magic 1,000 subscribers. So guys, I want to see it happen by the end of the day. So get on there. If you haven't subscribed, go check out FJ Camping and Touring and check out his videos. That's lots of reviews, lots of trip reports, and he's got this cool Toyota FJ which I did a walk around. So if you go back on my video, you'll see a walk around on what he's done to his FJ. So get on there. Let's get those 24 subscribers so he can reach that 1,000 by the end of the day. That'll be awesome. I'm going to keep watch and see if it happens today. Fingers crossed. So, till next time, guys. See ya. Bye.